Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your football predictions, the series where we try and predict all of the upcoming Premier League games, and this is going to be a midweek quick fire predictions video, which is pretty much the same as normal, except that I will not be talking all day long like normal because the midweek games start tomorrow night, Tuesday night, so we haven't got long for you guys to watch and get your predictions in. I wasn't sure I was going to have time to make the video, and as I'm making this video, YouTube isn't working and hasn't been for a while. So it could well be that you guys don't even get a chance to see this video if YouTube doesn't start working soon to actually upload it, but we're going to go for it anyway. Those were my predictions from the weekend. I got one correct score. Which wasn't great, but Manchester derby ended 0-0. Fulham managed to grab a draw against Liverpool. Crystal Palace managed to draw against Spurs. Burnley beat Arsenal. So, you know, there were some tough ones this weekend. But as always, you guys pulled through. We had a good handful of people who got 2 correct scores, but just 3 people got 3 correct scores, and they were Solomon, Pills and Christopher. So well done to you guys for winning this week's video. As I say, the last video got over 130 likes. It had over 200 comments. So thank you to everyone who watched and got involved with the last video. And I hope you all will again with this one, providing you can watch it because YouTube isn't working. So get your predictions in down below for all of the midweek games happening this week. As I say, the games start tomorrow night. We've got Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday games, and I'll go through them all and I'll shout out the winner possibly later this week if we get a chance to predict the weekend games as well. But as always, predictions down in the comments and we'll go through the games now. Starting off Tuesday night, 6 o'clock on Amazon Prime. I should say all of these midweek games are on Amazon Prime. So if you've got it, brilliant. If you don't and you haven't had it before, they often offer a 30-day free trial, which will cover you for the games this week and the games which I think are Boxing Day or New Year's Day. They've got another day coming up where they also have all the games as well. So if you can get that 30-day trial, then brilliant. But starting off 6 o'clock tomorrow night, Tuesday, we've got Wolves taking on Chelsea. Wolves currently sitting in 13th place. I spoke about this last week. I like Wolves. They're a team I like to see do well. They've had the injury to Jimenez, which has affected them. They are trying to now play the 4 at the back. And I mean, I'm not a Premier League manager, so I can't comment too much, but since trying that 4 in the back, it hasn't really been working for them. They lost at the weekend against Aston Villa, which I actually had them down as a 1-0 win for, so I think they'll be pretty disappointed with that one. Taking on Chelsea, who are in 5th place, have been looking really good this season up until the weekend when they'd won 8 games in a row, whatever it was, and then lost 1-0 against Everton. Ancelotti got his own back, or a win against his previous club. It's not a result I thought was going to happen. So there's 2 games there, 2 teams who have just lost at the weekend now coming in to play each other. I've backed Chelsea 2-0. Defensively and attacking wise, I would say that Chelsea have been the better team this season, so it makes sense to back them. Next up, again on the Tuesday, but at 8 o'clock on Amazon Prime, we have got Man City taking on West Brom. So Man City sitting in 9th place. They are a game behind most teams because they started the season that game late. But 9th place, currently 6 points off the top spot with a game in hand. So, you know, not quite hitting the... I mean, there's a long time to go. We've got almost... 3/4 of a season to go still, two-thirds of a season, so there's plenty of time, but I would not say Man City had the greatest start. However, it does look like they might be turning things around now after a 5-0 win against Burnley, a 2-1 against Fulham, a 0-0 against Man U, and now playing 19th place West Brom. I'm sure Man City are going to be hoping to win this one. West Brom, as I say, promoted side are currently in 19th place. They lost at the weekend against Newcastle United. Will they feel slightly hard done to in that game? Possibly. I think if it had ended a draw, it would have been a fair result. As a Newcastle fan, I'm happy that it didn't. West Brom are 3 points off getting out of the relegation zone. They've won just one of their last 6 games. And unfortunately, I think this could be another loss for them. So I've backed Man City win 3-0. For fantasy team reasons, hopefully Sterling scores a hat-trick. Moving on to the Wednesday now, at 6 o'clock, we have got Arsenal taking on Southampton. Arsenal sitting in 15th place, 5 points above the relegation zone. You know, start of the season, or even when the season started up, you know, Arteta was in. I'd said it, that I thought Arsenal actually looked like they were playing some quite good football. The short passing game, the possession game, it was nicer to watch. Unfortunately, however, we're at the point now where it doesn't matter what it looks like. If you're not bringing in any points, then it isn't working. And that's the top and bottom of it. A great example was they played Burnley at the weekend, a team who are not known for possession stats and are known for being very direct. You know, they did get a little bit lucky to win the game 1-0, but still, you know, if you've got all the ball but you don't shoot, you know, and then they're taking on Southampton, who were opposite ends, a team who are doing really well this season. Currently in 4th place, 2 points off the top spot. Have won 4 of the last 6 games. Danny Ings was out for a few games when they drew and lost one. Danny Ings came back to score a last-minute goal against Brighton, and then they went on to win 3-0 against Sheffield United at the weekend. So, I've pretty much explained which team I'm going to go for here. I've gone Southampton to win 1-0. You know, I went 1-1 for Arsenal Burnley. I thought, you know, Arsenal haven't been in great form, but, you know, a point, you know, they didn't, they lost. They're going to have to turn it around at some point, or I think Arteta could be out. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. Moving on, Wednesday again, 6 o'clock again. So you're going to have to choose between 3 games here. And this is the second one. We have got Leeds taking on Newcastle United. So Leeds are currently sitting in 14th place. Lost against West Ham at the weekend 2-1. Still, you know, a promoted side sitting in 14th place. 6 points above the relegation zone. 6 points behind 6th. So, you know, it's pretty mid-table right now, you know, points-wise. A team were very exciting to watch at the start of the season because they were very attacking, which meant they were either scoring or they were conceding. Recently haven't been as great, losing 4 out of the last 6 games, drawing 1 and winning 1. Taking on a Newcastle side who, you know, are in pretty similar 12th place at the minute. Have won 3, lost 2 and drawn 1. So, you know, form is better than Leeds's by 1 win and happen to be 3 points ahead. So, you know, it's really not far away from each other at all. The thing that these two teams do have in common is both have got someone who can stick the ball in the net. Regardless of how tight it is or or it's one-sided. You know, we've seen Bamford get the goals for Leeds. We've seen Wilson get the goals for Newcastle. So I think if it's a tight game, it could just be which one of them strikers nabs the ball in the net. Wilson likes to score in away games for some reason. So I'm hoping he does it again this weekend. So I've gone 2-1 Newcastle. Let's make it 3 wins in a row. And as I say, the next game on the Wednesday night, again at 6 o'clock, we have got Leicester taking on Everton. Leicester currently sitting in 3rd place, having a very good season. They are just 1 point off the top spot, have won 4 out of the last 6 games. Got the win at the weekend against Brighton 3-0. Just the week before, they managed to just about get the last minute win against Sheffield United. I think they lost to Fulham just before that. So, you know, they have had a couple of losing against Fulham. I'm sure they weren't happy with that. Just getting the win against Sheffield United, you know. So I'd predicted maybe a 1-0 Leicester win at the weekend, but they showed me up. They scored 3. Which is exactly what they needed before going into what I think will be quite a tight game against Everton, who are currently sitting in 7th. Everton started the season really well. You James Rodriguez looking fantastic. Calvert-Lewin scoring goals. He is still scoring goals, but you've got to say, from what was such a great start of the season, has kind of fallen a bit. Last 6 games have lost 3, drawn 1, won 2. Recent form, so you could say, the last 4 games have won 2, lost 1, drawn 1. But considering they'd won the first 5 or whatever it was, and then up till not long ago, I think I'd lost 4 out of 5, have now got into a place where form is a little bit better. Got a great win against Chelsea at the weekend. And I've sat on the fence for this one. I've gone 1-1. Again, Vardy versus Calvert-Lewin. I think it's a toss-up for me. If I had to bat one, I would possibly go Leicester. But I don't think 1-1 is an unfair prediction. Next up again on the Wednesday, but the 8 o'clock game, we have got Fulham taking on Brighton. Fulham currently sitting in 18th place. Burnley jumped over them after their win against Arsenal, putting Fulham down into that relegation zone. But a very good draw at the weekend against Liverpool, which I'm sure they wouldn't have expected, let's be honest. And I don't think they played too badly against Man City the previous week either. So some tough fixtures there. Now taking on a Brighton side who have not been looking too good. 16th place, as I say, lost against Leicester at the weekend. At the start of the season, I actually thought Brighton looked quite good. That Lamptey looked good, Mapai looked good. They were playing some tough games and having a good performance, but just not picking up the results. However, more recently, there's only it's like the possession, no goals thing that I was talking about. Even if you're playing good and you're not scoring, like, something needs to change if you're not winning. Last 6 games, Brighton have lost 3, drawn 2, won 1. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be close, but I've actually backed the promoted side to nick it 1-0. Again, I think Fulham had an awful start of the season, but in the last 5 or 6 games they've looked much better and have started picking up results. That's the big thing. So I have backed them to win 1-0. Moving on again, Wednesday night, again 8 o'clock, we have got Liverpool taking on Spurs. So this is going to be a close one. It should be a good one. Hopefully it's not 0-0 like the Man Utd derby at the weekend. Liverpool currently sitting in 2nd place, Spurs sitting in 1st place, both on the same amount of points. It's just goal difference between them, and both had draws at the weekend, which I'm sure they would both rather forget as quick as possible. Liverpool drawing against Fulham, Spurs drawing against Crystal Palace. Spurs actually played first, Liverpool played later yesterday, so Liverpool could have gone to top if they'd been able to win their game. And now it's come down to this one. I mean, we are still very early in the season, which is why I think and why I've gone for 1-1. Could it be 1-0 either way? Yes. Could it be 3-0 either way? I would say yes, because Liverpool have got Salah, Mane. They don't have Jota because he looks like he's going to be out from a month to 2 months now. But still, Mane, Salah, Firmino. Spurs have got Kane. They've got Son. Who's going to get the goals? Who knows? Or this is the thing, we are still quite early in the season and you don't want to now be 3 points behind. I think, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. Let's just keep it. Would they take the 1-1? Is Mourinho going to look to do his masterclass and just keep it tight and make sure they don't lose? As I say, that's the thing. I think either team could win it, but I also think it's quite a big thing to not lose this game. And when Mourinho's involved, you never know what's going to happen. So I have gone 1-1. Wednesday night again, 8 o'clock again, we have got West Ham taking on Crystal Palace. So as I say, West Ham won their game at the weekend 2-1 against Leeds. Now up to 6th place, have won 4 of the last 6 games. West Ham had a tricky start of the season with some tough fixtures, and I did say they were going into a period of fixtures that they would look at and say, we should be winning some of these games or all of these games. But it's one thing to say it and it's another thing to do it. But as I say, over the last 5 games, West Ham have won 4 of them. And I would say Crystal Palace at home is probably another game they should think they should be picking up another 3 points from. Taking on Crystal Palace, who are currently sitting in 11th place. As I say, they did get that draw against Spurs yesterday at the weekend. For me, the man of the match was Gaia, the goalkeeper for Crystal Palace. I watched some of the game. The goal was his fault that Kane scored. It was from so far out, and he just kind of let it go in. But then after that, some of the shots he was saving, Kane from about 3 yards out, he somehow managed to block it, and then Crystal Palace managed to get a late-ish goal to pick up the point. So they'll be happy with that. The week before that, they won 5-0, 5-1. So two good games in a row, and maybe they'll fancy their chances against West Ham as well. But I have backed West Ham to win it 2-1. Moving on to the Thursday now, at 6 o'clock, we have got Aston Villa taking on Burnley. Aston Villa currently sitting in 10th place. Got the 1-0 win against Wolves at the weekend. Didn't play the week before because of the Newcastle team getting postponed. So Villa are actually 2 games behind some teams now, but are still 5 points off 4th. So if they are able to win those 2 games in hand, that puts them up in the top 4. Taking on Burnley, who, for all intensive purposes, have been pretty pants this season, but have now found themselves outside of the relegation zone from a win against Arsenal at the weekend. Not a game I would have expected them to win at all, so they're going to take it, they're going to run with it, and they're going to be hoping to maybe try and continue that on against Aston Villa. I have backed Villa to win 2-1. As I say, Burnley haven't been great. I'm sure they're buzzing with the win, but generally, Aston Villa have been a pretty solid side this season. And again, I think that's a fair prediction to make, but for all I know, Burnley could very well prove me wrong. And to finish off again on the Thursday at 8 o'clock, we have got Sheffield United taking on Man U. Sheffield United sitting in 20th place. Every time I speak about them, every week, unfortunately, there's just nothing different to say. They are 12 games in with 1 point. 8 points off getting out of that relegation zone. So, as I say, we're 12 games in. There's still a lot of time. They need 3 wins to get out of there. It's doable. It's not going to be easy taking on Man U, who have won 4 of the last 5 games and drew against Man City at the weekend. I've backed Man U to win 3-0. The thing is, and I mentioned it earlier, Newcastle have got Wilson, Leeds have got Bamford, Sheffield United brought in Brewster. It could come good for him, but as a veteran goal scorer, they just don't have one right now. And then, as I say, Newcastle are happy with Wilson. Man U have got Bruno, Rashford, Pogba. The list literally goes on. Cavani, who is he injured at the minute, but still so many players who can get a goal. I'm not going to write Sheffield United off altogether. As I said, last weekend we had results that I would not have predicted, and I didn't predict. So there's no reason to say that this can't be the game they do it, but it will not be easy, that's for sure. And that is it, guys. So those are all of my predictions for the midweek games starting tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I'm talking like you'll be watching this video today on the Monday, but if YouTube doesn't sort their act out, it might be tomorrow. I don't know. Hopefully I can get it up as quick as possible. But as always, as I say, those are my predictions. Be sure to get your predictions for these midweek games down in the comments below. I will go through all of your predictions and make a note of them before the first game kicks off, which is Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So tomorrow, Tuesday, 5:55, I will make a note of all of your predictions and I will shout out the winner quite possibly later this week if we can get a predictions video in before the weekend games as well. What I will say is if you are watching this now on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, don't worry, get your predictions in for the Wednesday, Thursday games anyway. I'll come back regularly to try and pick up some of the late predictions, so there's always a chance. Last week's winner got 3 right, so if you just get Wednesday and Thursday's games in, you may well still be the winner. But as always, thank you all for watching. As I said, the love on these videos has been fantastic. I'm really enjoying this series at the moment. I think with the lockdown, or at least as a Newcastle fan, not being able to get to the games, it really does spice things up when you've got some predictions on the line for the upcoming games. So as always, drop a like if you are enjoying it. If you're watching them but you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because it is hugely appreciated. But yeah, enjoy the games this week. Thanks for watching, and I won't see you very long, ready for this weekend's predictions as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.